Hello people, it's the Secret Anime Fan here, and today I want to do a video on King Piccolo's children, an interesting part of the Dragon Ball story, if I don't say so myself. This should be a somewhat short video, I hope, and maybe a bit confusing for some at times, but for those who are not aware of the story of the Demon Clan created by King Piccolo, I hope this video helps you know a little bit more about Dragon Ball. Either way, I hope you enjoy it, and let's get started. Oh, and of course, there may be spoilers, so King Piccolo, or Piccolo Senior as I like to call him, gave birth to 4 children, or 5 including Piccolo Jr., but I'll get into that later on. These 4 children were mutated in nature, often called Mutated Namekians, as opposed to other Namekians seen in the series, as shown on screen like Piccolo Jr., Dende, and Nail. King Piccolo's children, called cymbal, drum, tambourine and piano, as you can see they're named after instruments, are also known as dark vassals and are part of the Demon Clan within the Namekian race, a clan completely, I believe, created solely by King Piccolo, as there are no other instances of mutated Namekians in the series. Now just briefly, there are actually later on in the series in Dragon Ball Z is mention of a demon realm and a demon king called Deborah, but that's as of yet no relation to King Piccolo or his mutated children, referred to as a demon clan, quote unquote. The demon clan most likely refers to King Piccolo's name in the manga, Great Demon King Piccolo, so as I said, only pertains to the Namekians. It said King Piccolo's evil spirit warped his children into Namekian mutants. Somehow Piccolo Jr. got a pass, but he's more a reincarnation of King Piccolo than a child. So maybe that's why. Okay, so let's get onto their stories and info and all the known information we have on the mutated Namekians. Okay, so I'm firstly going to start with Piano, as he's one of King Piccolo's first known, or at least first known named characters we have of the mutated Namekians. Piano comes across as the brains of the bunch. He boasts higher intelligence, I just assuming that, but he's like the aide of King Piccolo, so I assume, or we as the community think he has a higher intelligence than his brothers who are fighters. He looks like a pterodactyl humanoid character, and like other mutated Namekians doesn't really look like a normal Namekian. He's the longest living, or at least lived the longest, of the mutated sons, which isn't much of a feat to be honest. Other than his pterodactyl aesthetic, he's also short and slender comparatively with his brothers, and has light green skin, and in my opinion looks noticeably different than his brothers. Now on screen you should see what he looks like, so I'm not going to go too much into it, but I will say that's a good looking chain, it's an impressive bit of jewellery. I'm surprised someone didn't snatch it. Okay, so let's go on to Piano as his personality, or what his personality is like. Piano has a loyal personality, showing loyalty to his father and I assume his family as a whole, although he does call his brother Cymbal weak, which is rich coming from him. He greatly believes in Piccolo, never really doubting Lord Piccolo's abilities, although does show concern for his father's health when Piccolo wants to create Cymbal, an action that may shorten his lifespan, in which Piccolo says he is stronger than Piano thinks, but for the most part he is faithful in King Piccolo's abilities. Which is no surprise, King Piccolo was on a whole other level to previous baddies we had seen in the series at that point. It was clear he was, for the time, a true threat to the Earth despite his old age at the time. He actually turned into more of a threat, but that's kind of spoiler territory. Piano was the only one of the 4 not to be of the fighter class. There are fighter class Namekians in the series, there are normal Namekians, and there are Dragon Clan Namekians, which possess mystic abilities. It's not clear if Piano was of the Dragon Clan, but since he was part of King Piccolo's Demon Clan, it's most likely he was a non-combative mutated Namekian, so he was just a normal Namekian, but he's obviously mutated. I know that's all a bit confusing. Just a side note though, King Piccolo is part of the Dragon Clan. He just created the Demon Clan sector, so to speak. Whilst in the manga there's no solid indication he's more intelligent than his kin. It's more of an assumption based on his role and not being that of the fighter class. Piano acts as King Piccolo's assistant and attendant, always by his side for the most part. Always on hand to King Piccolo, like reminding Piccolo of things to do and fanning Piccolo's lazy ass as he sits on his throne. Piano, spoiler incoming, is killed by King Piccolo after Piccolo flies into Goku after Goku smacks him about, and that seemed to be enough to kill Piano, although at least in the manga it's never shown if the impact from Piccolo killed Piano, although later on King Piccolo basically wipes out the surrounding area, which most likely killed Piano or at least finished him off. Now there's not much on his technique, but we do know he can fly and has a power level of 180. Now I'll go on to, later on I'll go on to why that's probably, maybe might be wrong, and why power levels are a bit, it's a bit shady when trying to get power levels, readings of their power levels. I might talk about the techniques these characters have in video games at the end of the video, depending on how long this video length is. Okay, so next up is Symbol, a big old boy. Symbol is a dragon, humanoid looking mutated Namekian, has a large frame with dark green skin and wings. Looks like a bog standard dragon but with that Toriyama touch to it. And of course has humanoid features. He has medium length horns as you can see on screen and small claws. Symbol was created by King Piccolo for the sole purpose of tracking down the Dragon Balls. Most of them have specific jobs except for maybe Drum. Piano was the assistant, Symbol the Dragon Ball finder, and the others I'll get to later. He's the third known mutated Namekian we see in the series, so he's the third son of King Piccolo. He has a rude personality and is extremely rude to those he meets, or at least to humans. Doubt he would backchat to King Piccolo. Besides, like his brothers, he's extremely loyal to his dad. He has a short-lived story though. He sets out on his journey in hopes of finding a Dragon Ball. Unfortunately, he bumps into the wrong people, those being Goku and Yajirobe. He demands Goku and Yajirobe tell him if they know anything about the Dragon Ball he's looking for, even threatening to kill them if they don't, showing that he's determined to get the Dragon Balls no matter the cost. He's unlike his brother Tambourine though, who definitely is on the more extreme and sadistic side. He only wants to fulfill his purpose of his life, which is finding them Dragon Balls, only resorting to extreme violence after being denied the Dragon Ball, after asking for it, of course. A fight entails between Yajirobe and Symbol. Symbol starts off quite confident in his abilities, but he is surprised by Yajirobe's resilience. After an exchange of blows, Yajirobe makes a decisive blow, or shall I say slash, that cuts Symbol in half. And that's the end of Symbol's story. Well, almost. He had one more purpose, and that's for food for fellow big old boy Yajirobe, which is funny because even Goku, who's known to not pass on a meal, is like, nah mate, you're right, showing Yajirobe will really eat anything if given the chance. After Symbol's defeat, Piccolo can feel that his child is dead and is a wee bit angry to say the least, showing that King Piccolo, despite being evil, still cares for his children. As I said before, Piano, after Symbol's death, calls Symbol weak, a pretty weak fighter, saying a stronger fighter would have finished the job, which is of course interesting as King Piccolo classed Symbol as a fighter. This comment by Piano may likely just been to make King Piccolo feel better at the time. Okay, let's quickly mention Symbol's techniques. He can fly through the use of his wings, but not through ki, most likely. He uses his tails as a means of attack, punches and presumably kicks. His more interesting move is an electric shockwave through his hands. In the video games, he can do a shout beam through his mouth, the same that Piccolo can do, and King Piccolo as well. And that's it for Symbol's character. On a side note, it could be said that he is not part of the warrior class because his purpose for being born is to find the Dragon Balls and not in particular to go out and fight. But King Piccolo does ask him when he's born if Symbol is a fighter, which Symbol replies yes. Okay, moving next up we have Drum, also a big old lad, thick too. Drum is the fourth son and the final mutated Namekian we see, as in the story we see Tambourine before that of course. He's big and wide as you can see on the screen. Some think he looks like a ogre mixed with a frog, don't really see that at all personally. But he should be on screen, so make your own mind up for yourself. He looks similar to his brother Tambourine in both appearance and clothing, with a slight difference of course, for example the lack of wings. I like to think this is what most mutated Namekians look like, but King Piccolo does have the ability to shape what his children look like when given birth anyway. As you can see, it's pretty much a mix of Symbol and Tambourine, just with a unique shade of green belonging to him. Now I'll skip over listing what his clothes look like as it's shown on the screen. I did it for Piano because I was going to do it for Piano, but I just skipped that as well, so let's continue. Now Drum was only born for the reason to fight Tien after Tien confronts King Piccolo, so he has no real job. Piccolo only creates him because he believes fighting Tien is beneath him. Drum should be the strongest of the lot as he was, spoiler incoming, created when King Piccolo got his youth back from the Dragon Balls and he wished for his youth back, and he was in his prime at the time of giving birth to Drum. He actually possesses enough skill to take down Tien, so this definitely shows he's a skilled fighter. And of course, like his brother, is loyal to his king, to his dad, or Dad King Piccolo, willing to finish off Tien on the orders of King Piccolo. Luckily, Goku swoops in to save Tien just in time. Drum is confident he will be able to take Goku down. He's like the kid on the playground saying he'll get his dad on you, and Piccolo of course was present. And luckily for Drum, he goes in for the kill. Goku kills him in one blow to the face. Drum lived the shortest of the 4 brothers. In the anime, Drum further shows his loyalty as when Tien, spoiler incoming again, tries to use the Mephiba against Piccolo, but Drum jumps in front of the Mephiba wave, or evil containment wave, saving Piccolo the fate of being sealed away. With such little screen time, there's no noticeable techniques for Drum, but he is fast, which is his main asset, and he is strong. As Tien notes, he is as strong as he is fast. Drum has a power level of 210, or at least more than 180. Some state he has a power of 280, so things conflict when I was doing research. So next is Tambourine, and he's in my opinion the most interesting of the 4. He gets the most screen time in the anime and the manga. Well, Piano's always lurking about, but Tambourine actually does things in the anime and manga. He, as shown on the screen, is slimmer than most of his brothers with an average height and has a humanoid gargoyle look. Tambourine is noticeably crueler and sadistic than his brothers. Not saying his brothers are angels, but Tambourine takes pleasure in killing humans and considers them inferior to the Namekians. He is cold-hearted, capable of killing innocent people for his mere amusement, and shows no remorse for his victims or their family. He thinks humans are just there to be killed, not worthy to even be his pets. Unlike his brother Symbol, Tambourine will needlessly kill people not part of his job, just for fun. Talking about Tambourine's job, Piccolo assigned Tambourine to go out and kill the people on the list he retrieved from the martial arts tournament. On the list was the people who had participated in the tournament over the past 10 years, people who King Piccolo saw as a threat at the time, so Tambourine's job was to kill people on the list. Tambourine is arrogant, cocky, and likes to taunt his opponents, thinking himself the superior fighter and being. Well, that's until, you guessed it, Goku whooped his ass, where Tambourine's demeanour changes from cocky to cowardly, where he attempts to flee from Goku and Goku finishes him off. He did, though, get the better of a weakened Goku on their first encounter, so I suppose you've got to give him that. Now there's more to the story of Tambourine if we go by anime filler, and I kind of like this anime filler of Tambourine. And in my opinion, it does a good job on expanding Tambourine's story / journey. In the manga, we only see Tambourine fight Jiren, or Giren. Jiren's from Dragon Ball Super. We see him fight Giren from previous martial arts tournament that fought against Goku. From the list of people he has killed, which he makes short work of. Actually, in the manga, he also kills Nam, another previous world martial arts participant even, but that's off screen. In the anime, however, he fights King Chappa, Pamput, Bacterian, and Manwolf, and a few others, making short work of them also. I think I'll make a few videos on these characters at one point, but nevertheless, let's continue. He goes on to confront Yamcha in the anime, but before he can finish off Yamcha, Tambourine is called back by King Piccolo. All of this happens before Goku kills Tambourine, of course. Now let's talk about power levels and technique. Now his power level, if by going off the movie pamphlet, states that his power level is 340. But this is another reason power levels seem so contrived at times. This would mean he had a higher power level than King Piccolo, who, going by a different source of info from Shonen Jump back in the 80s, states King Piccolo's power level was 260 at the time, and that's in his prime. This also indicates that Tambourine is stronger than Drum, which could be possible, but probably unlikely, as Drum was created in Piccolo's prime. All of that's another point of speculation, so his power level is probably lower than 180, as Kid Goku was more than likely around 180 at the time he defeated Tambourine, which means he's weaker than Piano, which is also unlikely. So basically, power levels most of the time are confusing, and most of the time don't make sense. Hopefully the info on the screen can display what I'm talking about here, so it makes you can get a better idea what I'm talking about and where I'm getting my power level info from. If you really want to know, go search on the internet. You know what I mean? It's not too hard to find. That aside, let's talk about Tambourine's techniques. He can fly with the use of his wings. He can ki blast. This is all, by the way, pretty much anime moves, not the manga moves. He has the move Lick Twister, where he extends his tongue to wrap his opponent up. Think of Orochimaru from Naruto. He has the 100 arms technique, which he appears to have 100 arms when punching. This is actually an improvised move where he used to mock King Chopper's 8-arm technique. He uses the Wata kick, a stereotypical kung fu movie pose kick used on Pampa. Next up is the Shocker Flatline, where Tambourine channels electricity through his palm into his opponent, used on Bacterian. He uses the move where his hands glow like orange, like fire for a second, and then he impales his opponent from his side, which he used on Giran, called the side arm flamer. Then there's a Tommy gun Suki, I think it's called, which is similar to Tien's machine gun punch, except with kicks. And lastly, a mouth beam attack, the evil cannon attack used by King Piccolo, Piccolo Jr. and so forth. And that's it for techniques, minus the video games, but I'm going to bother going into that, to be honest. And that's it for the Mutated Namekians, or nearly in anime. There is a flashback to when Piccolo first reigned of terror on Earth. It shows many Mutated Namekians causing terror around the world, some which look a lot like the 4 named Mutated Namekians that I've just obviously talked about, that we see in the manga. This is anime only, of course. So that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed.